So, in our previous class, we were discussing that our relationship with Krishna is eternal. We are integral with Him, and integral is something which cannot be separated. So, because we are integral with Krishna, because we are fragmental part of Krishna, our relationship with Krishna is eternal. And that relationship simply has to be received. Sorry, not received, revived. It has to be revived. It is already there, but due to contamination, we are not able to experience it. But the relationship simply has to be revived, and that revival is this process of Krishna consciousness. Very, very amazing thing I heard in Prabhuji's class in Nectar of Instruction discussion, that you will see we living entities, we are fragmental part of Krishna. Let me just take that out. Yes, we are, our constitutional status that we are always servants of Krishna. And this is our constitutional state. This is something which is integral with us. And we cannot, this constitutional state of ours, this um, means this is something which cannot be separated from living entities. What? This tendency to serve. So even illusory energy of Krishna, Maya, can never snatch our tendency to serve. She cannot snatch this with us. She cannot snatch away this with us. She can only exploit it. She can bewilder living entities that uh, instead of Krishna, there are other people to whom you should serve. So she can exploit our this tendency to serve. She can bewilder us, but she cannot snatch away our tendency to serve. And you will see every person, every living being is actually bewildered. He is assuming that I will be serving other people and I will get satisfied. But this is not true. Our only Lord is Krishna. Krishna is our only Lord. He is our only boss. And we are servants of Krishna. And this, what we read? Mm, yes, this relationship to serve Krishna, that we are servants of Krishna, Krishna is our Supreme Father. This relationship revives by the process of Krishna consciousness. Very beautiful point. And in that, most important is hearing. While hearing, you will be fixed that, yeah, like you will be convinced just by hearing, you will be convinced that my only Lord is Krishna. I am his servant. I am only his servant, and I'm not servant of any other people of this material world, any other person of this material world. I'm only servant of Krishna. So by hearing, constant hearing. So our hearing should be very, very strong so that we may get convinced that yes, my only Lord is Krishna and I can only get satisfied by serving Krishna. This is very important. So if your hearing is strong, then no matter at what, like where any person stands, if he's a brahmachari or a grahastha or vanprasthi or sannyasi. He can be anyone, but if his hearing is strong, then it will be easy for him to progress in his spiritual life because he will get convinced. Gradually, he will be getting convinced that, yeah, I'm on the right path and my only Lord is Krishna, and my only duty is to serve him, to satisfy him. So, this is very important. That relationship simply has to be revived, and that revival is this process of Krishna consciousness. At present, we are under the sway of a different consciousness. One person is thinking that he is Indian, another is thinking that he is American, and someone else is thinking, I am this or I am that. In this way, we create so many artificial identities. But our actual identity should be, I am Krishna's. I really wonder, we have already covered these books in our afternoon class, Hindi version of these books, and see how Srila Prabhupada is, he's telling everything straightforwardly. That we do not belong to this world, and if we do not belong to this world, then any of our relatives or whatever family members, they also do not belong to us, and I don't belong to them. My only relationship is with Krishna. But then also we identify ourselves with artificial identities. I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. And you will see people are immersed in this, in all these identities, artificial identities. That I'm this, I'm that, my duty is this, my duty is that. So they are in different consciousness. They are under the sway of a different consciousness and identifying themselves with artificial identities. But our actual identity should be, I am Krishna's. My only relationship is with my Krishna. He is my Prabhu. He is my Trata. He is my everything. And once anyone will understand this thing, then you will see his life will become so much burden free. Do you agree with this that because we identify ourselves with these artificial identities, we are carrying a burden on our shoulders? Just like I want to share my personal experience on this, which I experienced few days ago. It was festival time, so I don't know. One occasion comes in which one has to invite, like a sister has to invite to her brothers for the sake of offering him nice food and stuff like that. So, like at my home also, my mother invited her brothers. See, the amazing thing is that she is the only child of her mother. She has no siblings. But then also she had, means I am not, I'm not offending anyone. Okay, let's not discuss this. Let's not discuss this point. But yeah, I was just simply observing this thing that I really don't have to do anything with whatever those responsibilities, whatever people are immersed in, entangled in. I really don't have to do anything with those things. But then also, I was getting myself entangled in all those things. So, and at the end of the day, I was really frustrated. I mean, I was happy that they got opportunity to consume remnants of Krishna. This was nice. But it's just my consciousness was disturbed. Because if any person, especially group of people is coming at your home and those are not devotees, they're so much engrossed in materialistic things and they do not follow any purity or something in their lives. I mean, please, I'm not showing my whatever, I'm not showing my bad emotions here, but it's just I want to tell here that if something, I mean, I took lesson from whatever incident happened that day, that if something is not good for my consciousness, if I am forgetting Krishna at that moment, then that is the most dangerous situation. What Prabhupada is telling here, our actual identity should be I am Krishna's. And if any moment, if I am forgetting Krishna, then I am putting myself in dangerous situation. This is very deep point. When we think in this way, we are thinking in Krishna consciousness. Which way? That I am Krishna's. My only relationship is with Krishna. And you will see when any person understands this thing, and it's not he is neglecting other people. No, it's not like that. When we start loving Krishna, when we become Krishna conscious, uh, then naturally we have compassion for other beings also, not only human beings. Very beautiful point Prabhuji was telling, that if you really want to help someone, if you want to serve someone, then serve them by putting Krishna in center. Because only this way you will not only purify yourself, you will also purify those people to whom you are serving. One very amazing point I was hearing lecture in morning. So what's been told in that lecture, that we should make sure any person who comes in contact with us, we should make sure that he, like with our association, that person is getting purified. And when purification happens, like the real purification, when Krishna in center, yes, only in this way can universal love among all living entities be established. Only this is the way. There is no other way. If Krishna is not in your center or in anyone's center, then universal love cannot be invoked. He can never have uh, compassion for all the living entities. He will be limited to his family members or whatever pets if he have. His love will be limited there only, and that is also not love. That is only sense gratification. Krishna is like love exists where Krishna is in the center. Okay, before moving ahead, I also want to put one more point here. Um, one devotee is there, so he is a musician. So he wrote a song, and in that song, the lyrics was something like this: love is the answer. I love myself. And when I love myself, I love others. Now you just modify this and put Krishna in these lyrics. Krishna is the answer. Do you agree with this? That Krishna is the answer. You will see whatever difficulties in your life you face, or whatever, if you're entangled somewhere, that can be any situation of your life. As you will become Krishna conscious, you will come to know that Krishna is the answer. There is nothing beyond Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. So, Krishna is the answer. And when we love Krishna, only in this way can universal love among all living entities be established. So, this is very important point. Krishna should be in center. Otherwise, we'll just keep identifying ourselves with artificial identities. Krishna is related to everyone. It is not limited to any particular group of people. And you know what? Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada has actually proved this. He has preached this auspicious knowledge of Krishna consciousness all over the world, which proves that Krishna is related to everyone, irrespective of any particular caste or religion. We see now, like in Western countries or in whatever countries, even in Pakistan, where Muslim people live, they have also devoted their lives to Krishna, because Krishna related to everyone. This is very beautiful thing, and I really love this point, that Krishna is Supreme Father, and Supreme Father means he relates to everyone. So there is no scope of any confusion that, oh, which path should I opt for? Should I go there or there? No, no confusion at all. Krishna is for everyone. So you just surrender yourself to Krishna. There is no scope of any confusion, that to whom should I surrender? And consequently, when we establish a Krishna conscious relationship, we become related to everyone. How? Because if we are understanding this thing, that our Father is Krishna, He is Supreme Father, He is Eternal Father. When we are understanding our relationship with Krishna, that He is Supreme Father means He is related to everyone. He is Father of all the living entities. So when my father is Krishna, then that person's father is also Krishna. That mosquito's father is also Krishna. That lizard's father is also Krishna. That ant's father is also Krishna. Or that crab father is also Krishna. So when we are understanding this, then we all are brothers and sisters, because our father is Krishna. Our father is one. So there is no scope of envy or hatred for anyone. Isn't this beautiful point? When we understand our relationship with Krishna, we become related to everyone. No one is stranger or no one is our enemy. So our duty should be that we also practice our spiritual activities nicely. We become Krishna conscious more and more, and we help others also to become Krishna conscious. No one is stranger. That person might be assuming that, oh, that we are strangers for him because he is not understanding his relationship with Krishna, but we are understanding our relationship with Krishna. So that person is not stranger or enemy. As I am fragmental part of Krishna, then that person is also fragmental part of Krishna. So it is my duty to make him Krishna conscious. And that can be in any way. When one marries, he automatically establishes a relationship with the spouse family. Similarly, if we re-establish means we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, so we are reviving it. So that's why re-established. Otherwise, relationship is already there. If we re-establish our original relationship with Krishna, we will establish our true relationship with everyone else. That is the ground for real universal love. I'm really loving these points. Universal love is artificial and cannot endure unless we establish our relationship with the center. One is American if he is born in America, and thus other Americans become members of his family. But if he is born elsewhere, he has no relationship with Americans, and he will be assuming that, oh, those people are strangers. There is no relationship of me with them. And this is because he is identifying himself with false identity. We are not American or something. So on the mundane platform, all relationships are relative. Our relationship with Krishna, however, is eternal and not subject to time and circumstance. So there was no time when there was like when our relationship with Krishna was not there. Eternal means it is there from always. So, yes, our relationship with Krishna is not subjected to time or any circumstance. When we re-establish our relationship with Krishna, the question, uh, yeah, the questions of universal brotherhood, justice, peace, and prosperity will be answered. There is no possibility of realizing these higher ideals without Krishna. If the central point is missing, how can there be brotherhood and peace? And see, this is the only reason why people are, they are just fighting unnecessarily, proving that our religion is great, your religion is not great. They are just fighting like this in ignorance because they are thinking that my father is different and your father is different. With whatever religion or caste they identify themselves. So, if the central point is missing, central point is Krishna. If our Supreme Father is missing, then how can there be brotherhood? And if brotherhood is not there, if we are not understanding our relationship with God, then we'll just assume that other people are strangers. There will be no brotherhood, and if there will be no brotherhood, there will be no peace. In Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is clearly given. We have to understand that Krishna is the only enjoyer. The consciousness of this is developed in a Krishna conscious temple where the central point of all activities is Krishna. All cooking is carried on for Krishna. not for one's own purposes. Ultimately, we shall eat the prasadam, offered food, but when we cook, we should think that we are cooking for Krishna and not for ourselves. Very beautiful point Srila Prabhupada was telling that when you are cooking and in your consciousness you are aware that I will not be tasting it before offering it to Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Even though you are making your own favorite item, food item, but then also in your consciousness you are aware that I can't taste this food before offering it to Krishna. Then that is Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you will see people, even if you have seen tutorials on cooking tutorials, recipe tutorials on YouTube, so you will see those people who cook food, they just taste it. Yesterday, I was watching one recipe of laddus. So that Mataji, she was roasting flour, whatever millet flour or something, and she was saying that you can taste this flour and you will come to know whether it is ready or not. And I was like, how? How can it be possible? We can't taste it before offering it to Krishna. So yes, this is an amazing point. When the members of a temple go into the streets, they do not do so for their own sake, but to distribute Krishna conscious literatures in order to make people aware of Krishna's presence. Alright, we will be continuing our discussions in our next class now. If Krishna is willing. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Hari Bol.